The show's over, the lights fade, and for the first time in months, there's silence. No more check-ins, no more cardio alarms, no more countdowns. You spend so long chasing that one moment, that one chance to stand under those lights, and then it's gone. The adrenaline drops, the structure disappears, and you're left sitting with yourself, trying to figure out what's next. This is the part no one really talks about, the part after the stage, where the body's tired, the mind is loud, and you're forced to face who you really are without a show. If this sounds like you, stay tuned. I'm going to be giving you guys 6 steps for the mental rebuild. Stage 1 is the come down. Those first few days after the show, man, they kind of get different. You've been locked in for months. Every second has a purpose. Then suddenly that purpose is gone. You wake up and you don't know what to do. The hunger is still there. The exhaustion is still there, but the why isn't very clear. And that can mess with you. But listen, this is part of it. Your body's crashing, your hormones are swinging, and your emotions are trying to catch up. It's not so much a weakness, but your system resetting. You don't need to rush out of it. You just need to sit in it and understand what's going on. Because sometimes the silence is where those lessons come through. Stage number 2 is basically rediscovering who you are as a person. During prep, everything becomes very goal oriented. The food, the training, the posing, the look. But after the show, it's kind of like, who am I without that? And that's where a lot of people struggle. They tie their identity to being shredded and being the competitor. But your value doesn't go away when the tan fades, right? You are more than just what you do. You're still the same person. You're still disciplined. You're still resilient. You're built different. You just got to reconnect with that version of you that isn't defined by the stage. Because honestly, like I said before, bodybuilding is what you do. It is not who you are. Stage number 3, rebuild the body, reset the mind. Now that you understand kind of why you feel the way you do, you understand that bodybuilding is what you do and not who you are. Basically, now it's time to rebuild. And what that means is eating again, resting again, and giving your body what it needs to grow. A lot of people panic during this stage. The weight gain, the water, the softness. But you guys got to realize that's part of the process. That's how you get to a point where you can get better. You can't stay lean year round. If you want to make a career out of this, there's going to be phases in life. And some of those phases require different looks. Just realize that you're not losing it. You're just recovering. Your body just did something very extreme that it's not meant to do. And now it's trying to find some balance. Now you kind of need to shift your focus to every meal that you eat kind of fuels the new version of you. It kind of propels you to that next version that's going to be even better than the one before the next time you hop on stage. Every rest day that you have is an investment, an opportunity to get better, to recover, and to reset. Just realize you can't rebuild anything if your foundation is cracked. And that foundation starts with the body and the mind healing together. Remember that the body heals a lot faster when the mind is at peace. There's tons of studies that show how stress, cortisol, and things like that can directly impact body composition and muscle building. So you really do need to come to terms with this phase of my life, this phase of bodybuilding. It's just a part of the process. And this is one of the steps that helps me get better over time. Stage number 4, protect your mind from comparison. Now, this one is super duper hard because of everything online, social media. One of the hardest parts after the show is just trying not to scroll too much. Seeing everyone still peeled, seeing everyone competing, everyone posting, and you start to compare yourself, even though your season is done. That's where a lot of this post-show anxiety comes from. You're chasing a look that isn't meant to be held year round, right? You got to protect your peace whether it's muting, unfollowing, or even just stepping away from social media for a while. My personal opinion is if it doesn't bring you joy, peace in life, then you might need to step away until you're ready for it. There is a certain point though where you kind of need to accept that and be okay with that. There's something called I think exposure therapy, where you slowly introduce yourself to certain things that stress you out so you can better tolerate it. But you have to realize and understand like if you're ready for that just yet or if you're not, you know. Another thing you need to realize is you don't owe anyone an update. You don't need to prove yourself that you're still on it. That this rebuilding, this improvement season is still part of the process. Growth doesn't always happen in front of an audience. Sometimes you need to go into the dark and work in silence and work in secret in order to bring something better, you know, that next year. Stage number 5. Now, this is probably one of the most important parts, in my opinion. It is building new structure and setting a new purpose. Now, everyone is super on it when they're in prep, right? It gives you direction. Every single day is mapped out. You got your cardio, you got your training, you got your meals, and there is a very, very real countdown that if you don't do these things, you will not look your best on stage. And for me personally, my biggest fear is looking like a bag of smashed assholes on stage, right? So it's very easy to stay on track when you have an immediate goal right there in front of you. And for most people, after the show is over, that structure disappears. And that's where most people fall off. So what you need to do is build some new structure, find a new purpose, find a new why. Not just for the show, but for you. Find a way to build a lifestyle that brings you balance, but also gets you closer to your goals. Now, when you're in prep, the goals seem very easy, very simple. In the off season, they can be a little bit more difficult because they're a little bit more long term. But the best way to kind of navigate that is to have short-term goals set in place, things you can do daily. One of my favorite quotes from Will Smith, I know he's in a weird spot right now in life, is you don't focus on building a wall. You focus on how you can lay each brick perfectly, and soon you will have a wall. And what that means is when you're in your improvement season, focusing on the daily things like getting all your meals in, still hopping on your cardio, focusing on keeping track in your logbooks and making PRs as often as you can safely. Creating routines will bring balance and help you stay on track. You don't need a stage date to stay disciplined. You just need a purpose that feels real to you. This is the time to rebuild not just your body, but also your mind and your lifestyle. So prep teaches you how to push. This rebuild phase teaches you how to live, right? Stage number 6, reconnecting spiritually and emotionally. I know personally for myself, those last few weeks of prep, emotionally, I've become very, very muted. Like I don't feel very much. I have trouble focusing on anything or literally anything that doesn't have to do with the show. I can't even focus on a TV show near the end of prep. Like it gets really, really hard. So when everything slows down, that's when reflection needs to start. You think about prep, you think about the grind, you think about sacrifice and what it all meant. For me, this is where real growth happens, in the quiet, after the big event. Who are you going to be without the show? When you're no longer performing, no longer being judged, and you just have to sit there and be honest with yourself. What did you learn about your mindset, your habits, your limits? Every prep strips something away, whether it's ego, doubt, or fear. And you basically need to sit there and understand, like, how can I improve from the lessons I've learned during this prep? How can I be more patient? How can I be stronger mentally? How can I gain a better perspective on this whole competition thing? You can't transform without breaking down a little first. You know, just like they used to say with muscles, even though that's not completely true anymore. You kind of need to test your limits and break down a bit to build back stronger. I say all this because the stage is temporary, but the lessons you learn, they're forever. Like who you become through that process is the most important part. The trophies don't matter, first place, last place, that doesn't matter. It truly is about the journey and who you are at the end of that journey. You can become the best in the world, but if you pushed everyone out of your life because you don't know how to grow and how to be a decent human being, to be honest with you, it doesn't mean very much in my opinion. But if you come in last place at every single show, but you've learned discipline, you learned hard work, you learn how to be a better person and to manage stress, I think that's a win. All right, guys, those are my 6 steps to building your mental faculties better. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you have any questions below. I know this is a tiny bit vague, but if you guys need any help with real immediate issues, feel free to leave them down in the comments. In addition to that, I want to leave a couple books that have helped me tremendously. The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, The Confident Mind by Dr. Nate Zenzer, Chop Wood, Carry Water, by Joshua Metcalf, and lastly, Letters to a Young Athlete by Chris Bosh. Those are some of the best books in terms of becoming not only just a better athlete, but just a better person in general. And 100% recommend these books. I've had dozens of people come back to me and say how these books have changed their life and changed their perspective on the sport and in general. So until next time, guys, like, share, subscribe. Peace.